Okay.
Good evening. Today I'm going to do my speech number 1 and put it on YouTube. If you could please take a tape of my audience. I have 4 members and 1 more recording. I'd just like to thank everybody for being here. And I'm willing to bet that most of you have one of these in your wallet or pocket. I also know that you have probably never really thought about it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Today I will be talking about the magnetic strip on your debit, credit, or any other card you might have. I will also be talking about Ron Klein, the man that invented the strip. The magnetic strip has probably already saved you time and money. When new card technology comes along, will it save you money? First, I will talk about Ron Klein himself. Second, I will be talking about why and how Mr. Klein came up with the idea for a magnetic stripe. Finally, I will discuss how the invention of the magnetic strip has impacted our lives. Let's begin by taking a closer look at Ron Klein. Ron is an American inventor and Korean War veteran. He grew up in Philadelphia during the Depression. He came from a working class family. When Ron was 16, he mysteriously contracted a hepatitis infection, and he couldn't go to school or do much of anything. He decided it was an opportunity and challenge. In a year and a half, he read 18 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica, cover to cover. At the age of 18, he was drafted into the Korean War. After the war, Ron attended school and became an engineer. He would soon be the owner of his own company. This allowed him to be creative and work on his invention. Besides the magnetic strip, Ron has been credited for numerous inventions. He helped develop multiple listing service for real estate, a voice response for the banking industry, and even a nutrition system that raises chickens more efficiently. This information on Ron's early years can be found on growtheverywhere.com. And here are some of the inventions that I mentioned. Today, at almost 80 years old, he is known as the grandfather of possibilities. He is currently working on a new device for the visually impaired. Ron credits his success to seeing challenges as an opportunity and finding the gift in every challenge. In an article found on Huffington.com, he says he knows that credit cards may not live much longer, but he's pleased with his invention's longevity. In summary, Ron Klein's way of turning challenges into opportunities made him a very successful inventor. Next, we'll learn why and how the magnetic strip came about. In the early days of the credit card, merchants charged accounts by placing your card on a zigzag machine. This machine would imprint the raised numbers on your card onto several pieces of paper. One of those would be sent to the bank and it would be charged to your account. The merchant had no way of knowing instantaneously if your card was good or bad. The banks provided merchants with a large book every month so they could have a list of bad cards. So you can imagine how time-consuming that must have been. In the early 1960s, a department store client asked Ron to help him solve the problem. At first, Ron came up with the idea that stored all the numbers on a magnetic drill. The clerk would then push the card number into the keypad, and it would let the clerk know if the card was bad. This idea worked, but it was still too time-consuming. According to an article on lowescards.com, Klein would utilize the same technology used in reel-to-reel tape recorders to come up with a magnetic strip. This strip could then be placed on the back of a plastic card. In 1966, the magnetic strip on the back of credit cards was born. This invention would identify each card and allow merchants to know instantaneously if your card was good or bad. The word about the new invention quickly spread, and in 1970, it was picked up by American Express. In summary, confronted with a banking and merchant problem, Ron Klein came up with a magnetic strip solution. Lastly, we will take a look at how the magnetic strip has impacted all of our lives. We all know that the magnetic strip ignited the credit card industry, but it totally changed the bank industry. Banks began issuing debit or bank cards that took convenience to a whole new level. An article on BrightHub.com states that in 1998, debit card transactions outnumbered the use of checks around the world. I find this interesting because banks offer you free checking without giving you any checks. Just kidding, but how can they offer you this free service? They do this by charging the merchant a fee every time you swipe. So who does the merchant charge? They charge you, the consumer. Today, the magnetic strip is everywhere. It is used for ID tags, government issue payments, driver's license, and many other functions. So it is fair to say that it has become a daily part of our lives. A writer for Time.com explains how the recent hacks of Target and Neiman Marcus has given tremendous push to replace the magnetic strip. After all, it has only been around for 4 years. It is being replaced by a chip and pin technology. It will take time to convert to this new technology because it is more expensive. Who do you think will pay for this new technology? In summary, there's no doubt that the magnetic strip impacted history, impacts our daily lives, and will impact the future. In conclusion, Ron Klein was an amazing inventor that came up with a simple way to help the credit card industry, but he had no idea how it would impact all of our daily lives. Now when you swipe your card, you have a little more knowledge of how it all got started. Also, remember, there is no such thing as free when it comes to banks. When I think about how times have changed, I've never seen my dad use a debit card, and I've never seen my sons pay with cash. All I want to be before we no longer use cash or debit cards. Thank you.